Welcome to the Coach Buff Podcast, episode 7. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the South American coaching duo of Inzaney and Darkside here today. Gentlemen, everyone here, how are we all doing today?
Good.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thank you.
Let's go.
Alex,
That's
Travis
awesome. All right, so per usual, starting the podcast, we're going to go over the trio here, and Evil, myself, and Knives. We're going to talk about a quick update with our teams going in for coaching, because those who know us all, give us everyone a little quick update, and then we will interrogate you two. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
That's good.
We're going to, one way or another, we're going to get that South American coaching sauce out. That being said, Evil, you want to go ahead?
Dry.
Or, yeah, exactly. Knives, Evil, rock, paper, scissors, whoever wants to go first. Don't care, don't matter.
I got a lot to spill, so I want to spill it first. Info dump word vomit time.
Okay.
Arkansas State, we are coaching. I don't think I've announced it yet on Twitter, so rock and roll. Working with those guys for the Octane Collegiate Series, NECC Collegiate Series. Kind of working backwards instead of, from Tier 2 working to Collegiate, getting experience with some guys who definitely aren't as skilled but are like 10 times more hungry than what it feels like these Tier 2 players are. So, love their attitudes. Just finished up our qualifying series for the first weekend, the preseason weekend. Never made playoffs. This team's not very established by any means. We just had a freshman step up in a senior IGL spot. So, a lot of adversity against us. Tied the 5th place overall placing team from last season at 34 points at the cutoff. Didn't make it. They beat us in kills, unfortunately. That's just the way the cookie crumbled. Left a sour taste in our mouth, so right there at the edge of winning. Got shit on a little bit. Love that because that's just more adversity for us to cook and go into in the next week. Anyways, from there, the EMEA boys are locking in our 3rd right now. We're moving forward with those guys, trying to get him all worked out. We've been working team fighting. Haven't been in scrims near as much as we should have, but definitely off-season stuff. And then our NA boys going through some roster changes right now. Might dive deeper than that, maybe next episode or something like that, but gonna talk about that as those things develop. That's all I got.
Nice.
That's it?
Nice.
That's it? I thought there was an info dump on your boys, the NA boys. You're gonna keep that away?
I'm gonna keep that away.
Damn. I don't even know the sauce, so I was hoping I'd get the sauce. Knives, you're up.
Let's see.
What's going on in the world of status quo? Or are you guys just Bing chilling again?
We're just chilling, man. Jackson doesn't let me know anything, so I'm very much just hanging out.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just like teams that hit me up. Then, other than that, I just kind of been chilling, doing my thing, watching VOD, watching champ scrims. Other than that, am I a free agent? Who knows? Maybe I am. No, I don't know. Maybe I think Jackson's just chilling. He's just taking his time to hang out. I think they ran some troll scrims the other night under some troll names. So I don't know. I think we're just still hanging out. He still doesn't know when, or even if the roster I told you guys about last time is going to be a solid thing. So
I
still hanging out.
One of them
Just hanging out, man.
scrims. I was wondering. I was like, interesting.
So maybe we have to bring them onto the podcast and interrogate them to figure this out. Because this is 2 episodes now. This is 2 episodes now where Knives is like, I don't know what's going on. They know more than I do. Guy comes with no sauce.
I be texting Jackson, calling him. I'm like, hey man, how's it going? Hope you're well. Yeah, we're good. Don't know when I'm coming back. I was like, okay. I'm chill. I'm just chilling. I'm still working with Panic and those guys. So.
It's like,
To be fair, I'm about to go on vacation for a week, so I feel that, dude. I'm not doing anything extra. Like after this fucking preseason stuff's done, I'm fucking taking a break too. So I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah. And I've been off work since last Friday, so I've been hanging out, enjoying my time off from work and coaching these goobers. So it's sick.
Nice. So I'm the only one running the electric bill up in the lab, huh? Damn. Passionless motherfuckers. Anyway, for myself, Freaky Apex, that's our official name now for Mari, Rapping, and Deadly Seuss. We're just nothing crazy going on. That's the squad going into PSQs and going into CC. And realistically, we're just making our needed adjustments to the meta because they killed our boy Pathfinder, and that's just brutal. That's just brutal. So we're just figuring out our new Taxi Legend or playstyle. You know, uh, historically, I've tested quite a bit with Rampart, so we're trying to see how we're gonna squeeze her into the mix, or if we're just gonna go double thick with a Taxi. So that's really it. Just finding our flow in the higher lobbies of EEC, getting Seuss back in the IGLing mix, and trying to incorporate Rampart into the mix. Evil already spilled the beans about the EMEA boys, although I'm very passionate about those guys because the 3v3s we ran and I was coaching in for some team fight mechanic. Well, pretty solid. Liked what I saw there. But that's really it for Freaky Apex. Free agents, myself technically one. So we'll see what's going on from there. That does it for me. So that being said, Inzaney, Darkside, why don't you two gentlemen introduce yourselves?
You want to go first, Dark?
Sure. Yeah. My name is Darkside. I've been coaching Apex for maybe like 4 or 5 years now, something like that. Started out kind of day one, and just floated around, coached a lot of different regions, a lot of different teams, and now we're just, I guess, Sandy and I are both with an SA team now. So it's chilling. We've been, I guess, with Brutus and Zane, or Brutus and Azazel for almost a year. Has it been a year?
Yeah,
Something
close
like
to
that. Yeah, just putting the work in, bro. Trying to rise to the top, become one of the best in the game, I guess.
It's always the goal.
Yes, sir.
So I'm Inzaney. Been coaching since 2022. Started off in America CC with Doctona, Lauder, It's Pie. We were under KLG. Worked myself up to being with Noxious, which was like Hambino and Chase Mob.
Nice.
I was with Fluffy Aimers with Hambino, and then found myself working with Darkside in South America.
Nice.
Solid squads working up into the South American juggernauts, I feel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, speaking of being one of the premier teams, I think you guys have definitely established yourselves as one of the best teams, hands down. I mean, the dog coming out of the South American region by far. I mean, the appearance at EWC showing out there, I mean, I think that's where a lot of eyes got turned on to you guys. I've been fans of you guys for a while. I'm an advocate of like getting staffs together and like combining some of these minds in the scene, which obviously that's why we're all here, right? Is just kind of shed light on those kind of things. So like to see you guys do it, see the staff come together of an insane CC's coach, and then a coach that's been floating around regions I've been keeping up with. I've been in the EMEA region for a while, so you were around there whenever I was around there. So compete against you a little bit in that area. And just one of those things that like genuinely was rooting for you guys. You guys getting all the publicity from the EWC stuff was fucking awesome. With that being said, though, want to talk about more about you guys' like early career adversity. We kind of touched on you jumping from different regions. What was that like, man? And where did you kind of find your staple at within those regions, and how was the play styles in those regions implicated?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started with NA, I guess, and NA's always been like the home. It's like way easier, even just for times, and like players are a lot more easy to
Oh yeah.
communicate with. Uh, yeah, and then just did some EMEA stuff. I did a little bit of like APAC South as well, like 2 years ago. Um, there's definitely like playstyle changes for sure. NA I think has always been a lot more like hard IGL focused with like some fraggers, NA's always been like kind of at the top of even like international play with lands and stuff like that. APAC South was a challenge. I coached a team that like only spoke like Thai, I guess. So no really English during in-game comms. It's like very similar to the South America team, which has always been a really huge challenge. But it was fun. I mean, I think coaching EU as well was also a good time. I worked with Kirov there when him and Stalizi, another South American like
Yep.
professional, went there for a bit. And we were in Pro League. It was pretty dog shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think we didn't even make like next split, so that was not very good. But it was like a good learning experience. I think the team lacked like a lot of um I don't know the right word, like experience, I guess, in maybe like a better region across the board. And I mean that's like also where I met Cure from, and then all this SA stuff kind of happened. So yeah.
Zaney, what was your early days like, brother? What was it like growing from that CC scene, getting into Pro League? Obviously, a huge change of pace there, right?
Man, kind of jumped through hoops basically. When I first started out, it was just like a small little clan. I came from different games, did the CC thing, and then I became a host for scrims, in excess scrims. I did like the women's scrims when Her Galaxy was coming out. Ran those. Worked with Viz on Viz scrims before Sparky took over. I was one of the admins on there, so I made a lot of connections. I'm more of like the networking. I had to meet a lot of people. I had to talk to a lot of people. I had to be nice to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to politic my way up. But when it comes to like the CC teams, met a lot of amazing individuals that are now in Pro League or now are retired. Yeah, just basically just knowing people, talking to people, and grinding.
Heard, absolutely, brother. So, with that being said, you guys have obviously found success in AWC and stuff like that. What was the biggest influence previous to you guys, getting this big of a, I mean, I guess bag's a bad term, but like, no pun intended, but
That one
amount
hurt.
of publicity, fame. I'm sorry, brother. Amount of publicity, fame, notoriety that came to you guys. What was the influences during those times that like kind of showed you guys like, hey, like it's possible. You guys are cemented in the region. You guys are cemented as coaches. What was some of those influences that really defined you guys as coaches?
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's funny you say that because Zane and I were talking in a call like before about some of the questions and kind of like giving our like general thoughts so we could think through them a little bit.
Okay.
And I was trying to think about like an influence that I had in my early career, and I personally couldn't think of one. I think that like Zane was saying, I worked my way up like pretty heavily from just doing like better and better teams throughout like CC and then into Pro League and doing lands and like different regions and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if there's like one person or one situation that was like the influence. I always wanted to like do coaching and always wanted to be within esports. So it was more like the like a goal rather than like a dream of doing it. Like I felt like I knew I would be like on land stage, like coaching land teams and stuff like that. So it was mainly again about like the drive and like constantly try to like find better opportunities, like work with better people, like more people, I guess. So I don't know if that's like not really a great answer,
No,
but
man, that's
it's just
I mean, it's
it's my
genuine and it's
experience.
awesome,
My
man. It's
experience.
like
Yeah.
hearing that, there wasn't a LeBron James or a Michael Jordan that was like, hey, like I want to be like this guy. It was just one of those things like I want to be the fucking best. I don't care who is up
Yeah.
there that I want to be like. Fuck that. I want to be the best. I want to be
I
the
mean,
people who want to be
what
like.
when I started coaching, there was like PvP, like JMO now, like Hodsick,
Hmm.
like G Dolphin, who was coaching like TSM, and that was like kind of it in North America. There was like no other coaches, and I was never like well connected enough to like get a team in the early days of Pro League. So it was like against a lot of like working my way up to like get the recognition. And I mean, like those dudes are cool and all, but I never like watched them coach or like know much about them personally,
Hmm.
never really talked to them still. So yeah, I don't really have influences, bro. That's it.
You are the influence. Hell
I
yeah,
am
man.
the influence, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Zaney, it's pretty hard to follow that one up, man. I mean, should we next
Yeah,
question, or do you got something for that one? I'm sorry.
he's the talker, man. I swear he can do this he can do this whole thing by himself at this point. But yeah, just basically what Darkside was saying. Really didn't have any mentors, or no one reached out to me and said, "Hey, you know what? Let me walk you through the steps to be where you are today." It's a grind session out there. There's a lot of individuals that had friends who were in pro league and had the mentors and became under their wing. And yeah, I never personally had that, so I can't answer that. But as long as you keep grinding and you believe in what you believe in and you trust your own work, anything's possible.
So I guess this is a unique situation where a question's bad on my end. So let me double down on this and hit you guys with one that's off scheduled. If you guys are okay with it. If you'd rather pass, totally fine. Since you guys aren't a part of a coaching tree, have you guys considered branching out your arms and your reach and helping some of these other coaches in the scene and maybe building your own coaching tree, growing yourself up? You know what I'm saying? Since there was an influence on you guys, have you guys considered being the influence for anybody else?
I mean, I've like helped out a couple of coaches in the past. Like there's Dutch. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He worked with like Starterfight in EMEA for a bit, and he worked with like a SA team, was at Lands and stuff. Yeah, I guess I worked with like Braden like really early on in his career when he was like before he was with Native and all that stuff. He's like retired now. And like a couple other smaller coaches like within collegiate and stuff like that, but nothing like I'm not like talking to these people every day still or like helping them out every week or something like that. I'm open to it. If people want to reach out and ask for advice, but I also think there's something like very good about like being unique and seeing like the game from your own point of view and thinking about it in like your own head, because there's times where like Zane and I disagree on certain things and it leads to like healthy discussion about like meta, POIs, like all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but like to get a base start and like find a team to coach can also be a challenge. So, people want to reach out, bro, I'm here. I'm around.
Hell yeah. Zaney?
I mean, I definitely have people that reach out. I started like my own Discord, trying to help individuals that needed it, more of like a discussion page, like a thread,
Yeah.
And I've had individuals that reached out, like Wabi, who's a fantastic individual, very smart, that has a beautiful career ahead of him. Just trying to give more of maybe not coaching advice, but more of networking advice, right? Because I remember I spoke earlier about how to know people, how to get into it. It's basically sometimes people just need a step in the right direction, right? They already have all the tools to be great. They have the fundamentals. They just need someone to open the door and be like, hey, you know what? Let me walk you here. And it brings back to that point where Darkside and myself didn't have mentors and stuff like that. Absolutely, I think it's very beautiful and very very great for someone to have that. So if anyone's more than welcome to reach me, they have my Twitter, they have my Discord. Absolutely.
Yeah, I will just take a second to vouch. I'm part of that Discord. Been a part of that Discord since like day 2 of you making it. That's an awesome place, dude. Tons of people in there that are great resources, great discussions happening. If you're an Apex player, highly recommend you get in there. If you're an LF coach, there's a ton of them in there that are looking for teams as well. So that's a great resource to be a part of. Is Zaney's server. So highly recommend.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I was in there too. Like day 2, day 3, good resource. So backing up just a little bit more, what got you guys into Apex? Was there any past esports or any past games you guys were into prior to Apex, or was Apex the first one?
Yeah. I've never personally like played any other esports or like competed, I guess, but I watched like a shit ton of Halo growing up, like Halo 3, Halo Reach, like back in those days when I was like 13, 14 years old. I'd sort of knew like I always wanted to do something in esports. So that was, I guess, like a motivator for me to try out like coaching within Apex, but I also saw like the trailer come out day one for Apex.
Yep.
You know, I was playing Fortnite a bit. Wasn't like loving that game, so I was like, BRs are kind of cool. Let's try this out, and I was just hooked. I've just been like playing since. That's it. I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably the same story for a lot of people. Just fall in love with the game, the characters, the movement, the guns.
Yeah,
So
definitely. It's like,
go ahead.
go ahead. No, go right ahead. I was just gonna say, I was just gonna follow up with
No, follow up because I have a question.
gunplay, the characters. I think that's
Yep.
that pretty much marks everybody's checklist for that game. It's just been super addicting. Even though how much I hate the game right now and hate playing it, I think it's still super fun. I can't give it up. You can't give it up. I always find myself 3 in the morning. I'm like, I guess I'll load up Apex for a little bit.
Hell
I might
yeah.
hate my life in like 30 minutes, but hey, I'm gonna load up the game.
That itch. She's like,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like,
So you mentioned not really having a title that you were into before, and it being a genuine love with just Apex in general. I just kind of want to ask you: do you think the environment around the timing of Apex and like the COVID happening not too long after Apex dropped, and like having the amount of people at their homes, around their PCs, around their consoles, do you think that had anything to do with maybe your love of Apex, about having that heightened sense of a community from that time?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I met like I have two like really good friends right now that I met through Apex. We still talk like all the time. And bro, I remember like 8-hour days every day during COVID times, and we're just like grinding
Yep.
out ranked, grinding out pubs, you know. And I think, yeah, as we like did more of that, you definitely do like fall more in love with the game. And I do think COVID like definitely played a big part in that. I still think Apex definitely would have been successful
Yes.
without COVID happening, but like the level of success, probably not. I think you could also say that about like a lot of games. You know, a lot of like I guess esports in general took a dive, but like gaming in general was up a ton for sure.
I totally agree, man. I think that it's almost unfair to talk about the player base today, comparing it to the glory days of Apex, only because like it's just not even the same world we live in like one bit.
Yeah.
We're back to almost complete normality at this point, and I mean, I don't think that even there's a question about social distancing or masking in 2025. So, I mean, we're
Yeah.
respectful for people who do partake in that stuff, but like I don't think that's a thing anymore in 2025, and it's just everyone's back to work, everyone's back busy. You know, the game, the love for the game and the time for the game maybe aren't the
We,
same, but
yeah.
it's still a great game. It's still the best battle royale, hands down, in my opinion.
And to add to that too, like it was a really long time ago since Apex came out, like 5 years.
5 years.
And bro, my friends have like a wife and kids now, bro. They're not
Yeah.
hopping on
Mhm.
Apex every day. You know? So like there's 2 players gone right there.
Yep.
You know? And if a lot of people like got shit going on. So I completely like I agree. I think a lot of people are like looking at the player numbers and it's all like doom and gloom on Twitter, but I still think Apex is like one of the most successful games in the world for like even just player wise right now. You know, many games don't get over like 100K on
Yeah.
like Steam. So
All right. Well, I don't want to focus on the player base too much with you guys as far as the doom and gloom aspect of it, but Zanny, do you have any advice to add in on that, or any 2 cents to add in on that, brother?
About Darkside getting into the game.
No, no, sir. About your early beginnings into Apex, and as far as like how you got into it, what your thoughts are about the meta we just talked about, not the meta, but the player base issues we just talked about.
So I came from World of Warcrafts. So I never played first-person shooters. Never played BRs. I played Call of Duty Zombies when I was like 11, 12 years old. You know, I had carpal tunnel, so I retired from World of Warcraft and started my life. I moved halfway across the country. I got a really good job. I became a store manager for a company. And one of my associates was like, "Hey, you ever heard of Apex Legends?" And I was like, "No, what is that?" He was like, "Dude, when you get home, log on the Discord, come hang out with me. You know, I'll buy you lunch." And I was like, "All right,
damn.
I love food, right? So it's like, absolutely, man. Let's go look at it. He showed me Apex Legends. He was like, yeah, this is a game where you like run around, you pick up attachments on the floor, and you shoot people. And I was like, that sounds stupid. Like, this doesn't sound fun to me, right? I'm gonna go watch like anime or do something else. Picked it up. I tried it. Absolutely fell in love with it. The way that the game felt was something I never experienced in the history of my gaming career. Right? It was new, it was refreshing. The player base was fantastic. It was like playing zombies or Call of Duty lobbies when I was 11, 12. People were talking shit. I don't know if I can curse. I apologize.
No, you're good.
No, dude, let it fucking rip,
Let
dog.
it fly.
Okay.
Born and raised Texan, dog.
Yeah.
You will not be censored here.
But people were talking shit. And it was one of those. I guess the start of a beautiful gaming career, right? I just knew that I was always going to love this game from the get-go. And the way that the game has molded and it got a little bit more competitive or extremely more competitive than where it was, I think the player base realizes that, the game is maybe not going in the direction that they think so, right? I feel like this is one of the games where we complain the most about. And it's very unhealthy because there's a lot of healthiness in the game that people don't realize. Like the devs do communicate. There's healthy discussions about the direction the game wants to go towards. And all you get hit with is negativity on Twitter, right? I could talk about hours about how individuals speak badly about the game. I've even made tweets myself that show my frustrations for the game. But at the end of the day, I want this game to live, right? I breathe and I love this game. So I hope as a community after champs, I'm sure there's going to be a tremendous amount of people that retire, but it might not be a terrible thing for the future.
I genuinely think that is one of the most positive things. If we do have a mass exodus, new faces, man. We get new blood into the scene. That means that we get new howls, we get new sweets. We don't know what's next because it's all going to be new. And it's up to us maybe not as coaches, but as far as the player base to really wrap our minds around it's okay to be different. It's okay to have new progressive things happening. We can wrap our arms around it, we can love it and embrace it, or we can keep throwing a fucking hissy fit and we'll keep nuking our own game that we all love so dearly. I don't think anybody wants that, but we all do that shit.
Absolutely.
That's such a great story, man. Like, I wish I got bribed with lunch again in this fucking game.
That's all what I was thinking.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I walked into my brother playing it, and I was like, "What the hell are you playing?" And he was like, "Oh, Apex Legends." And he hit a Bloodhound scan. I see a bunch of people in the building. I was like, "Whoa, this is sick!" I'm like, "I'm giving up Call of Duty, man. I'm playing this game."
Well, what's crazy?
That's where I came from was COD. I saw a Shroud clip, and I was like, "What the fuck is this game?" And then I downloaded it, and I was like, "Dude, this game's the best game ever."
Yeah. What's crazy is that friendship turned into a huge friendship. Like, he's my best friend today. I never spoke to the individual. Like, obviously I was his boss, it was more of a work environment, but I was his best man at his wedding a few years ago. Like that, the game literally brought us together and we just became like best friends. He moved on to different careers and I moved back to Houston and we still talk, weekly, and we still play Marvel Rivals and it's the game started a friendship. So it's more to me than a video game.
100%.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Now that we talked about how you guys got into the game, let's fast forward now, maybe present or something a little bit before in the past. But what's a moment in you guys' career where you said damn, I could do this. I could be the best that I could ever be in this game.
Yeah. I have two instances, I guess. I was with E8, Presley, Golden, Mercy, way back in the day, 2022 or whatever, and we qualified for the champs. That was in Raleigh, South Carolina, and it was off of LCQ. And a lot of people thought it was a fluke, complained about it, whatever. A very different format back then. And we didn't do super well in the overall placing at LAN, but we did pretty well in groups. I think we got 21st or something in groups, and I was like, damn, for a team that's like never been to LAN before, coming out of like NA, and for us to do like this decent, I felt like we, or at least I could do a lot better and like provide a lot more to teams that, um, like maybe had more experience, I guess. And then I went on and I worked with like tech and stuff on Meat Lovers after that. Even like the early iterations with like Funk Zainu, we had like Naughty for a bit, Luxford, Coifel, and all those people. And I don't want to say I had like a huge hand in making them or like helping them, but I think that was also like we were doing really well in Pro League. We almost made LAN then, and that was also like another big indicator that I could like do this for real. And like, I mean, here we are. We've made like 3 LANs now as a South American team, and I think we've done pretty well at the last 2, and hopefully we'll be doing well in Germany or in Japan. Sorry.
Yep.
Hell yeah, yeah. Much kudos to you. I remember, I was turned on to you like when you were on with Tech on Meat Lovers.
Yep.
That's when I first found out, and I was like, damn, this guy's the goat. This guy's the fucking goat.
I was around for the original Elevate roster, so that you guys
Really?
getting that, it was there was only 2 spots, and that series from you
Yep.
guys was absolutely insane. And then I got the pleasure of watching you guys play, because I did go to Raleigh, North Carolina for champs that year. Went through the whole
Yep.
COVID lines and all that stuff. So like, I think you're right. It's like 21st or 22nd. You guys were just points off of going into the next set of
Whatever side, yeah.
I was like, dude, like, damn. Like those guys,
Yeah,
like
it was crazy.
from like honestly, like no disrespect for them, like typical, like you'd think they're like ranked streamers because they streamed a lot of ranked. You didn't see too much competitive out of those 3 guys. But yeah, like that's how I found out about you, was literally that original EA roster.
Yeah, bro, LAN is like such an experience too. I think it really gives you a brand new perspective on the game for sure. Like there's like coaching CC and coaching Pro League, but LAN is like a totally different level. Like I was definitely not prepared well enough for the for the first time at LAN.
Zany, what you got? What you got for us? What is a big like game breaking career moment for you where you said like, I'm giving this all.
Let's see. I think I have 2 moments. So one is when I was with Doctona and Lauder, when esports world like arena was still around.
Yeah.
I think we got 3rd in one of the tournaments, right behind like people that are now in superstars. You know,
Yep.
I think coaching that, being like my very first like winning team, was a big inspiration for myself. I knew that I could probably do more. I was learning as I went. You know, luckily I had some superstars on that team that allowed me to grow as a coach. I made a lot of mistakes for that team. But when I went with Hambino and Presley and Chase Bob through Pin 5, Fluffy Aimers and stuff like that, I had the opportunity to work with Stay Naughty, Saucer, and Chaotic Much. I did probably about 4 or 5 weeks, 4 or 5 groups days with them, leading up to Split 1 playoffs. Unfortunately, Colgin took over with Shiny, but that kind of gave me like, we did well. You know what I mean? Like we did very good, and it kind of gave me the confidence I needed to be like, hey, you know what? I got this. I'm not just some CC coach. I'm not some wannabe type of person. I'm good at this. In one way or another, I have good aspects about my coaching that can benefit others. You know, and I had a really good conversation with Naughty, very wonderful person, polite individual. You know, he talked me up, and from there my confidence grew, and we made 3 lands.
Nice,
Awesome
nice.
stuff.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, kudos
yeah,
to
brother.
you too, man. Like that was a dope roster. The early days of like quote unquote Cloud9, but yeah, good shit, good shit.
I'm going to jump around a little bit real quick, just because we've kind of touched about this with both of you guys. Speaking on the 3 lands, I feel like this is just a great time to talk about if you guys have any land stories that you guys would like to share with us. Just for context, this is big shout out to TSM's finest, Talmage. Bro brought up the topic of seeing some Peen 5 in the hotel room
Oh yeah.
on accident. Some
The
close
see-through
quarters,
shower stalls.
little close
Oh
quarters
yeah.
combat action. You know what I'm saying? So, do you guys have any? Maybe not similar. I don't want to hear about that stuff. But if you guys have any, stories about land that are hilarious, or maybe just something that stuck out to you that influenced you along your ride.
I mean, bro, to touch on the shower stalls, those shower stalls were insane in Germany, bro. I remember they sent the hotels to us, and people are like, "Yo, really? Like, there's like no glass, bro. There's no wall. You just see right into it." So I remember every shower, bro, someone's flipped over on the bed. They're just not looking. It's a little weird when you first meet some people, but you got to do it, bro. You got to do it.
Yeah, that's like such a crazy introduction to like meeting people you've only met on the internet, and now you get a shower with them in the same room.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
I don't know if I have any like insane stories. I know like at EWC, like ZZ was talking to me at LAN and stuff with like his whole group, calling us like scrim terrorists, because we're just walking down scrims every time, playing unrealistic. Uh, Kiriv always would like lose shit at LAN, bro. He lost like his player badge a few times.
Oh.
So you can't really get around anywhere, so you have to like find that shit, look after it. There was Kira's birthday at one of the lands, bro. That was pretty
What?
cool.
Yeah, it's Germany.
Germany. We're doing like the media signing stuff, autographs, whatever, and we had like a cake and shit for him. So
That's
yeah,
dope.
Lane's always like a good experience. I don't know if any like crazy seeing some,
Yeah.
stories, but
Yeah. Pin 5s. Yeah.
yeah, some pen fives. Yeah.
Zany.
Just the goofiness of everybody. Everyone's big old family. Unfortunately, I didn't get to make a couple of lands, but the video calls that we've had were extremely funny. I just remember our player Zazel. We had a whiteboard in the room, like the playroom,
Uh-huh.
and of course, my analytical mind. I'm like, oh yeah, like we can draw pictures and talk about rings and stuff. He drew a pin 5. So
Nice.
yeah,
Huh.
it's one of those, just the goofiness that Land kind of brings out. We're all friends at the end of the day, so just relaxing. It's nice, and it's a good time.
I don't think that's ever been said before that during a LAN, taking the whiteboard and drawing a pin 5 on it.
we're all boys at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, just dudes being dudes. I love
Just
that.
dudes being dudes.
Yeah.
Saturday.
All right. You guys have anything to follow up on that, man?
I've never been to a land, so couldn't tell you.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's tough, bro. That's tough.
just
I
just
shared
a
mine.
CC shitter over here, man. So
That's tough. Can't talk to yourself yet. I just had the blowing up the hotel bathroom one. If I need to reiterate that one, it was Raleigh, North Carolina. My buddy Gabe, he is as Cali Mexican as they come, and stadium beer and like 5 hot dogs later through the whole day, and my buddy Tom straight they caustical to that bathroom, and like we like paint peeling off the walls. We vacated the premise from our hotel room because it was 5 of us going. It was bad, dude. It was bad. Stadium, like cheap stadium beer, which was like $7 a can there. That food was crazy there, like price wise, and like stadium hot dogs on top of it. Yeah, that 5 guys just eating that all day and then getting back to the hotel like that. It was bad. We vacated the premise for sure. That was probably the craziest thing in Raleigh. Yeah.
okay, I guess the closest thing I can get to it is like collegiate champs with my first roster, and we had our facility. We went to the facility to play, so we're all playing in person. I had my smart board and all that shit, and all the fancy tools, and 3 shithead college kids that were getting into Apex and playing for the first time. Then we made champs. Their biggest thing ever. So I brought food for all of them and all that stuff. And again, being shithead kids, they were never really prepared. So it was like all right, in between sets or when you die, we'll figure something out. We'll talk about what we need to talk about, and but they're eating the whole time. So every time it came back to the game plan, like game time, they're like, oh shit, like food all over the keyboards and all over their mouths. Like, knives, can you bring me like napkins, and can you bring me water? I'm like running around. I can't even like focus on like what's going on because they're laughing and spilling shit all over their setups. And I was just like, oh man, that was like really angry coaching eyes at the time. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck?
That's
man?
a babysitter, dude. That's a babysitter, not a coach.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I was a
they
therapist and the babysitter.
They need
Good
player
times, it was
operations over there, dude.
Hell yeah.
Like they need to get like the CS, the Counter Strike. Like they have like the whole the mental health staff and like player facilities. I think some teams get personal chefs at the houses and shit. Like that's the team they needed there. You need all of them.
I was all 5 roles:
player
manager,
resources,
coach, chef, therapist, coach, everything. I think one of the best moments like then when I was coaching that team and we had a facility. Like I said, I was very angry coach Knives at the time, so coaching a bunch of little kids, like 18-year-olds, and not all meshing well. And there was this time I was like really drilling into them that night, and like the R6 team was all walking in with all their team and all their equipment, and they just all opened the door and they all stopped at the door because I hear it open. And I'm just fucking yelling and shit, and they're like all they peek around the corner like, whoa, what the fuck? And their other coach they had a coach too. They walked in, he's like, hey, is everything all right in here? I was like, oh, we're good. And we also went back to laughing and we went back in the next game. Yeah, good time.
All right, we got to somewhat keep a schedule here. So we're getting to the 40-minute mark. I'm gonna speed run a couple of these questions to do with you guys' early lore. You guys take your time answering them. You guys don't feel rushed whatsoever. I'm just gonna try to keep us three a little bit more squared away. With that being said, how did Inzaney and Darkside, two absolute giant, enormous brains, IQ savvy gentlemen, come together? You don't really hear about things like this.
I thought you were gonna say bodies, man. I was like, I'm losing something.
That's crazy. That's crazy comms.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I'm pretty sure like I had coached like E8 previously, and Zany was coaching what were they called?
NXS.
NXS, yeah. So like we'd both known like Presley and stuff like that. And I know Zany was like in my DMs a couple times, but he mainly reached out to me about coaching a CC team with him, like for money. The Valkyrie roster. It was like Dan, Orsini, and was the other guy?
Insulations.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we did that, and then he was sort of like, what? And then I think like Presley reached out to us again and was like, or Hambina reached out, was like, yeah, you wanna come coach us? And then we just kind of went over there as a duo, as well. And then Kirov went back to SA, and he reached out to me about coaching him, and this was all I think within like a week or so. And this was kind of after, at least I was floating around with teams, like after tech and stuff, trying to find a home. And yeah, we just kind of met up like through him reaching out, like wanting to do some like duo coaching together on a CC team. And then I decided it'd be easier to like coach all the teams together. And you know, time kind of went on, and we just like stuck with the SA team with Kirov, who I met through EU. So
Yeah, I
that's
definitely
kind of it.
relate
Not
to you,
super
dog.
exciting, but yeah.
I definitely relate to you, dog. That's how I got this Pookie down here, man. I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna look for a little bit of some staff help. Maybe look for an analyst to help out with some things. Free up my schedule to just work more with coaching, more on like direct live session stuff. And definitely not what that turned into whatsoever. It definitely turned into me having another absolute fucking genius to work with me. I'm very blessed to have this guy in my corner, and very blessed to be in his corner. So one of the few things I think I get to relate to you guys on being so successful is, you know, putting two minds together really helps kind of push you and like meld you into the best person you can possibly be. You know, challenge your strats, your game plans. There's so many different examples of just how of the English iron sharpens iron. You know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's like the same with me and Zany. Like I'm really good at like micro, like problem solving, team fighting, like all that sort of stuff. Zany's a lot better at like macro. And yeah, I mean, we just like combined. It's like way easier. I don't have to think about macro. I just focus on like what I'm really good at, and Zany focuses on what he's really good at, and we're good. You know, everything's chill.
That's awesome how that dynamic is just very, very, very much the same as us.
It's
Yeah.
literally us that everyone will go. Even though we coach two separate NA Challenger rosters, everyone will be like, evil macro, unruly team fighting mechanics, and micro, and I'd be like, dude, like, and we think the
Yeah.
same about macro for the most part. So I'm like, if I tell you something, evil's gonna tell you the same shit, but it's not coming from my mouth, so they got to go to that guy. But when it comes to team fighting, they shut up and listen to me. So it's
Yep.
yeah, same dynamic over here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're working with Darkside. It's like what he was saying. It's a lot easier because he does like the micro, right? The team fighting and the positioning and stuff like that. And I can just worry about the macro. And yeah, we obviously have our inputs on two of those categories, but it's nice to have somebody that you trust and talk about situations and come up with game plans to elevate it and to make it better. So I think the duo partnership has really worked out, obviously with the lands and the position that we have grown into. But it's also just the friendships, right? I think it's a lot easier to communicate with the team when there's two individuals talking. One person might hear the input of another player, and the other person probably doesn't understand what they're talking about, and it's easy just to communicate. And Darkside and I have built a really healthy team environment, all five of us. So I think it's just it's a really great just energy when it comes to it.
I agree.
I've
Yeah,
got a
everybody
couple of
has a
follow-up
voice.
questions. Oh, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, yeah, everybody has a voice. Everybody has a say. Like, the fragger can like call IGL plays, or like vice versa. It's like one big unit, and I think that's one thing that's made us like super successful, for sure.
I've got a couple of questions to double down on this topic because I mean, with all the similarities, I feel like for one, there isn't evil Ruli combination without a Darkside Zany combination to show evil like, hey, two great minds made land. These guys, the people who you used to compete against, they're making land right now. You're not. There's something they're doing that you're not. Maybe we need to follow suit and copycat league some shit, With that being said, though, boys, do you guys have anything to add or question about these guys before I fucking get in them?
I got an off-topic question, but feel free.
All right. First, do you guys ever have any issues as far as maybe Zany's macro has us getting to a spot at this timing and we're taking a little bit too many engagements, or we're taking, our fights are stalling out, something like that, where you guys maybe do have a little bit of adversity of, like, hey, Zany, I know you want to get there by this time, but look, man, like, we need to score this KP, we need to get through here, or is it just one of those things where you guys just have that unfaltered trust in each other where maybe we did take a little bit too many fights, we missed our spot, but I know that there is a reason why Darkside has these guys doing this.
I could follow up on that. I think there is certain situations like that. I'm all about speed, right? Speed of rotation, playing to spots to our strength of the POI, et cetera, et cetera. And there's times where, maybe it's too fast, or maybe we're not doing enough, and Darkside might have some input on that. And we've been together for a year now where I expect that. I expect the challenge of my thought process and stuff like that, and I don't ever see it rudely. Like, I don't ever see it like we're butting heads or anything in that situation. We both have exactly what we want, and that's the win. We want to be winners, and anything that he says, I trust. Anything I say, I'm sure that he trusts too. So it's not really about anything other than win. So if my calls or if my influence to do something is not correct, I know my team is going to say, hey, we don't need to do that, or hey, that didn't work properly. And we go back to the drawing board, I erase it, and we adjust it. So it's a trust thing. I don't think it works without trust.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah. Just to add to that too, I completely agree with what Zany said. there's also like a few times where we're doing like international scrims, and the team's like third partying a fight ring one, and I don't know a lot about macro, but I know that's kind of brain dead, and they'll die for it, or the rest of the game's just fucked. So I'm like, yeah, what are we doing, boys? Like, what are we doing? This game's just tossed now. So yeah, a lot of it is like Sadie said, like a good back and forth, good conversations all the time about like uh just everything. The speed is very important to Zany, and it's something that like we try to work on a ton during scrims. So even if it's bad, like I'm always still you know saying, why wasn't this better, why wasn't this faster?
Right. Kind of doubling down, reinforcing that messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
appreciate that.
going into the whole partnership, when we first started, we all had different ways to look at games, and over time we have merged that together. Like
That was my next question. Actually, I'm glad you're speaking on this. Is how you guys have molded into a solid or a singular play style from coming from CCs, coming from around different regions, stuff like that. How'd you take these two things and like morph it into this, taking that pro league experience, pushing into that? Obviously, there's gonna be some back and forth between you guys there, but
one word: trial and error.
yep.
A lot of trial and
Sure,
error. I mean, he has his experience working with different teams. What do you mean by that?
We're from Texas. Leave us alone, all right?
Yeah.
That is one word to us. No, it's one word. You were right the first time.
Whatever. But yeah, just we have different experiences, and shut up, Dark. 3 words, right? Yeah, a lot of trial and error. Different teams, different play styles. We've been around for a while. Everyone always hears about like the Ravens and the Colgins and the people that have been part of Pro League for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of people that've been around as well. So we have those experiences working with different teams, different regions. And when we first started, teaming together, he had a different mindset of the game. I had a different mindset of the game, and we didn't really see the point of trying to split it rather than just merge it and get better at what we both see the game as.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can make a good fighting team that is also fast at rotating, that has good positioning, that can team fight together, that can communicate together, that can play for in games and understand when to be slow, when to be fast, when to take fights, when to not take fights, when to be conservative, when to be aggressive, then why can't both our mindsets work? And we're here a year later, and on the land stage, I feel like we're one of those teams that can move the fastest and still hold our position and take space. So put those two together, and there you go.
Well,
I think.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, I think the pinnacle of what Zany said too about like the melding of all the play styles, all the ideas, was Germany group stages when we got like 7th place, I think, and we dropped like 60 points, like the first 2 group, and that was it. Like big placement points, like we were winning games. I think we won 2 games on LAN in Germany.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys like for the group stages, and maybe I am, maybe it was the wrong stage, but you guys popped off with like first place, like a second place back to back, and like jumped the score with like 34 points immediately to start the match off.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Yeah, I remember
We
that
won,
specifically.
We won the very first game of LAN in groups, and then we won the last groups game in the first day, and I think we were 3rd or something overall. After that, and our 3rd group wasn't great, but yeah, it was all like just fast rotations, like we practiced. We were like fighting the teams that we needed to. Like the communication was good. We were holding spots, and we were able to like capitalize and win 2 games. So that was like the pinnacle of where the play style and all the ideas like really came together for sure.
Wasn't one of those wins like the wasn't it like the 13 teams like final circle on E District?
No. There's no E District in Germany.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
That's okay. That's okay. We
No,
won.
I just remember a Karev win where it was like literally just so many freaking teams. It was one building. It was just on top.
Yeah,
I just couldn't remember which one it was.
that might have been Liquid.
Well, the teams,
the
yeah,
SM.
but like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, I
So-
did
Yeah.
before
go
you
ahead,
go off on a tangent. There's just something that got to me with the comment about everyone knowing the Ravens and the Colgins and stuff like that. As coaches in a community, people just genuinely just got to do the research about these rosters. Because there's a lot of underrated talent, a lot of teams that like that do really really well, and all of a sudden they just have some random, well, not like random, but a coach or staff are behind there. And a big example for me that I realized is like you just got to do your homework on some of these teams, and where the success comes from is I didn't realize I didn't realize how diverse coaching in the community heading into Apex could really be. I didn't know there was actually female coaches for the longest time. There is a shit ton of them in APAC. So a lesson from that is like people who are investing in teams or investing in the community, look a little bit deeper for some of these teams. You'll find amazing people like the two gentlemen we have today. You'll find amazing people working on these teams and doing great things for the community. You just got to do your research. Sure, not all of them has risen a trophy up like Raven and stuff like that, but there's it just had to be said. Don't doubt the little guys. Just because you don't see their name all the time, doesn't mean that a big impact.
Yep. Definitely agree. I kind of want to double down. That's something I had to say about that as well. Is that maybe you guys are being modest in this, but as far as I'm involved, and I think that the other two will echo this as well. You guys have been a staple in the scene, and you guys have been around long enough for your names to be around here. Maybe you're not, Raven hosting trophies up, but like you guys are very, very much. I mean, whenever somebody talks about South American Apex, the first thing I ask is Darkside. You know who Darkside is. You know who Inzaney is. Have you heard of these guys that are molding these players, creating these players to be these absolute beasts in the scene? You know, so like just do credit to you guys. I know that humble approaches are awesome, but you guys definitely are far too modest. You guys are some kingpins for sure. So be proud of yourselves, and I definitely say embrace that, man. You guys are awesome. With that being said, though, moving forward a little bit, how did you guys get into the South American scene? We talked a little bit about career of talking to you guys and getting you guys hooked in there. What really got you guys going there, and kind of the segue to getting into the current, Darkside and Zany. How did the thou who shall not be named get into you guys' pockets and get you guys into their org as well? Because if I'm not mistaken, they're also South American, aren't they?
They're North American. They're
Okay.
yeah. Are you talking about the organization?
Yeah,
You can say
yeah.
it. You can say the name.
I would
You're
just rather
talking-
not give them any fucking platform, dude. I think
No,
that what they did
it's-
to you guys is absolutely fucking sick. So
It's good. Yeah. Exolus is Mexicana, so they're North American.
North American. Okay,
Yep.
got you.
South America. It really was like I just knew Kirov. Zany and I were like working together on different teams. He kind of reached out and we were in it. And he was already playing with like Brutus. He was like for sure locked in. And then he was still scouting out like some controller players. And he kind of sent us like a list of people that he had in mind. And Zany and I both watched like Azazel play, and we were like, "This is it, bro! Like he's him." His comms were like a little quiet, but we knew that the team could be really good with that specific roster, and we just kind of ran with it. I mean, we didn't have, I guess at least me personally, I didn't have like a lot of expectations going into it. I think when Kirov played in EU, he was good mechanically, but he lacked like kind of everything else about the game. So I knew that it was like a big each player on that competent on their to like all to be able to contribute calls. And now you look at the team now, and it's like Zell and Brutus are still on the roster, and they could like make calls. They like all fight together. Everything's like well coordinated. It's like it's a night and day difference between what it was like a year ago. Yeah, that's it. Not a super exciting story, but yeah, Kira just reached out and I liked him. He was super enjoyable to like just talk to and work with in EU. So I was happy to do it.
Absolutely, brother. Zany, before we double down the Exilus Laser stuff, any comments on how you got into South America or anything to add to that?
Basically, what Darkside was saying, we were already working with a few teams. Kurov reached out and said, "Hey, you know what? Darkside coached me. Do you mind if I'm back in South America? Do you want to come over and coach us? You know, I have this great mechanical player named Brutus. He's so good at the game. He's a better mechanical player than me. He's the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's just phenomenal." We were like, yeah, absolutely. We were already working with Hambino. We were already working with the CC guys. So you say, hey, you know what, might as well. One of the biggest things about South America is the pride that the people have. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great. I know that you guys were talking this up about being like South America coaches and stuff like that, but a lot of people don't realize like the true South America coaches that are in the region. Cafe is one of them that's been around for a long period of time. Great, kind, very smart gentleman. Desk X is one of an analyst that's over there. I wish he had a lot more recognition. I just botched that word, but I wish people knew who he was a lot more than they do. He's a very smart individual with great tools. He's really good at software engineering. He has a lot of software stuff that a lot of people hopefully one day we'll see if he ever comes back to the game and really puts all his effort into it. Of course, we have Team Liquid's coach. There's a couple Brazilian coaches out there that have been around for a long period of time that are really good at the game. So, it's really good to be recognized for what we've done in South America, but don't ever let it be ahead of the people that have been there since day one, that have struggled through pro league, their pro league being taken away and all that stuff, and they're still there grinding. Those are the true South American coaches that we should really be idolizing.
Oh yeah, brother, I appreciate that.
I hard agree with that. The big thing that comes to mind when it comes to South American pride is the land picture with Stelisi and the flag. You guys remember that one? Yeah. That's what comes to mind to me is the Stelisi with the flag. So I'm glad you came back and gave some flowers, because I was like, damn, you're absolutely right. When I think of South America and the players themselves, that's Stelisi flag picture, dude. It's great stuff. That is pride.
Yeah. I mean, even
passion.
Like 2 years ago, Singularity was like super big,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like Artin, Besk, Bin, and they had Elysium as well in the roster at one point, who was hailed as like one of the best controller players in the game, period, who's like since retired. And yeah, I think that's like I don't know, maybe when South America was like at its peak, I think they've had like the best land performance. And I know one goal that like Zany and I had was to be the best South American team ever in Apex.
Yeah, I remember that Singularity roster. I think they also like were an iteration of Elevate at the time too. I remember Ben's a beast.
Yeah,
I remember Ben.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's playing on Broski's now as well, and they did pretty well in BLGS. So
yeah, they were in my group. I know all about them doing well, motherfuckers. I'll tell you what. Anyways, before I get to molding, so moving forward, man, touching on maybe some soft topics with you guys. EXL.
Oh, the org stuff, yeah.
Yeah, obviously not the best experience with you guys. I don't want to ask anything that's too touchy about it. I'm just going to ask for you guys to, if you guys want to speak on it, if you guys want to just, give us a quick rundown of how that happened. There it is. There it is. Yeah, setting the vibe early. I like this. All right, I'm going to let you guys have the floor.
I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that we wanted to say like was posted and said on Twitter. I know there's like a few people that were like giving us personal backlash about like not getting contracts or not doing stuff. And I guess to shine a little bit of light onto that, I had talked to the org before when I was with Text Team actually, and the salaries that they were going to give us then were, I think, double or triple what they did end up giving or promising us, I guess. And they also had contracts ready. And I had already had like a prior relationship with the manager of the org. So I think we definitely could have been better about like doing our due diligence as the team to like ask for that stuff or like leave sooner, etc., etc. But I had trust in them and like the manager since we had like a prior relationship. And I think a lot of the situation blew up and all the stuff happened mainly because of like the roster breaking up after Germany. That was like the big thing. So that's it. There's not a lot of like juicy details or anything. We haven't like really talked to him or at all since the Twitter posts and stuff like that. So it's just kind of done. We're moving on. It's esports. Like this shit happens actually all the time.
It's actually
insane.
disgusting.
Sadly, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it
one of
happens all
the
the time.
worst practices of any, like, I mean, it's across the board. It's not just Apex, of any esport.
Yeah, a lot of the time orgs just like fuck people over.
I stress to this to a lot of my Padawans. I've gotten a couple offers over the last years to sign exclusively with orgs. For one, they don't come with offers. That takes away my freelancing ability to be able to make money with teams that are CC players, or maybe they're just console players looking to dabble in the comp scene, and then they're looking to throw money at somebody, But regardless, they haven't been able to match that, and much less I don't politic well. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys have heard it from my verbiage, but I just don't give a shit about half the things that people feel like are important. And I'm transparently myself to a fault almost. So I just don't politic very well at all. I'm pretty good at networking because I'm super transparent, but it don't work with the org stuff very well. I typically tell them exactly how I feel. Zany, please, sir, tell me exactly how you feel. There's no way you have that background, and we don't come with the heat right here.
Zane's way more pissed, bro.
If this was a few months ago, I would have raged hell because of the background. But time has passed. I've had to grow to the point where I don't get mad about it. Unfortunately, it was a terrible situation. I feel bad for Brutus, Zell, Kurev. Feel bad for Darkside myself. All the time we put into it with empty promises. Again, know that we got backlash for not signing contracts and stuff like that. The lands were back to back. There wasn't really time to sit down and talk. It was we got home for a couple of days and traveled again. 24 hours to Saudi Arabia and back, and then we went to Germany right after. It's just an unfortunate situation. I'm a big religious person. I feel like at the end of days, judgment will be casted. They knew exactly what they did, but I'll keep it PG when it comes to that. So just unfortunate.
I will speak my behalf on this. I wasn't there with you guys. Obviously, I have no relationship with you guys outside of just being competitors against you guys when you guys were around, and now that you guys are in pro league, being a fan of you guys. That's pretty much what I'm here for. The whole thing for people who don't have context in the chats in the stream, these guys got offered a good chunk of change to do what they do best, perform well in Apex. They did their job, overachieved at their job, some would say, and weren't compensated appropriately for their time, efforts, or anything else. So anything, I mean, I'm a contract worker. I do PLC work for my 9 to 5, hardworking man. That's just unacceptable, especially in the day of age today where it's hard to live with the price of groceries and gas and everything else. We're hobbyists that are trying to make a profession out of this, and when you have those opportunities, it almost feels like you've broken through that door, and to have that kind of taken away from you or have malintention behind that, I just definitely relate to you guys. I feel for you guys on it. Hate that for you guys. I genuinely think it happened to the like 2 best individuals in the scene. They're like genuinely just absolutely some fucking studs and like great people. And I absolutely hate that it happened to you 2 specifically. That's my piece on it. If you two guys got anything to say about it, for my colleagues, feel free.
Just the worst thing is, again, sorry, Dark. I'm gonna be very peaceful about it. The worst thing is the prize pool money. The players won $17,000, and their region, South America, is very hard to live in sometimes when it comes to money.
Money goes far there.
Money goes far there. So the players putting their blood, sweat, their pin 5 drawings to work. It's very hard to look at them in the eyes and be like, hey, you know what? The money that you earned, the money that you fought for, is taken away with no sign of it. It wasn't even the salary that really hurt. It was the prize pool money that was taken. Yeah.
No, it's definitely. I think that I have to just piggyback off that take. I think that when you put when you put it into perspective, especially coming from a region like that where money does go really, really far, and you just scammed 5 hardworking, dedicated men who, take the time out of their day for each other, they're dedicated to their craft. They want to represent you and make you as good as humanly possible, and they do that by the largest of margins, blow it out of the park, World Series type style for that region, and you scam them. And I think that's sick. I think they're sick for that. And I believe you guys are in a much better place now. I'm excited for you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys continue to kick ass and get the credit and the change you deserve for it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, you got anything to add on that, brother?
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah! Fuck them!
Fuck them, we ball, baby. Fuck them, we ball. All right, well, speaking of balling, new org.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that and let you guys take it away.
Hey, we got contracts, boys. We got contracts. We got contracts.
Pen to paper. You heard it here, folks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now what you gonna say?
No, the org's pretty good. Their communication's way better. There was Panic, who's like on our roster now, who was at EWC with like representing Dragons, with Zilach and Sleep, and that roster, and that's Shasado was coaching them as well. So yeah, I mean, I haven't like met anybody from the org when we were at EWC or anything like that, but the org's been treating us good so far. I mean, we've been with them for like a bit now. The announcement was a little bit late, I guess, but shit happens, I guess. It's not really like a big surprise. The teams were pretty much merging anyways. So yeah. But no, it's definitely way better. For sure.
Yeah, dude. I'm so happy for you
It's
guys.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know a thing or two about late announcements. I remember when I was on Native Gaming, I was on the team for a long ass time. They announced me, then they dropped me. So
that's crazy. The dropping comes really fast, though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it comes really fast.
The dropping post is like instant.
I was signed for like a month, announced me, and I was dropped a week later. So I was like, cool.
Off camera,
cool.
I have so much to talk to you about that. But that's
dude,
I can't talk about
it. That's off camera stuff. I know I have a lot of stuff to say about that. But yeah,
me too.
Good times. Good
Like,
times.
you guys shouldn't even have made the freaking tweet, man. Don't waste the social media manager's time.
It was really a insult to injury. As like I got my jersey in the mail like a couple weeks after that too. I was just like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
As the lonely Steelers fan in my household, every Steelers product comes in, they say it's toilet paper. So I have a suggestion for you.
Oh man.
Oh,
no, it's hung up. It's hung up in a frame.
That's prideful, I take that.
All right. Zaney, you have anything to add about the new org, man? Any experiences with them so far that you've enjoyed?
It's just a lot better than what it was. Good communication. We have a wonderful team manager. She's fantastic at her job. She really cares about us and the team, and she puts us first a lot of the times. So it's really nice to have a good team manager. Her name is Agos. Fantastic individual. The org itself is, they're Saudi Arabian, so it's cool to see that culture. our WhatsApps are always popping with memes and different languages. We got Spanish and Arabic and English, and ChatGPT is our best friend. So they're great people over there, and hopefully we represent them very well in Sapporo.
Nothing but confidence you guys are gonna knock it out of the water, bro.
That's
You guys
awesome.
are fucking awesome, man. With that being said, speaking of fucking knocking it out of the water, man, you guys have been successful at the lands you've been recently playing at. Obviously, we've kind of touched on Germany, Rally, shocking the world while you were at it. I want to specifically cover EWC because I think I kind of touched on it earlier. That's when the player base, I mean, Twitterverse kind of definitely was like, hey, these guys are fucking legit. Like these guys are fucking good.
Mm.
What was you guys' experience from EWC? How did it change you guys as coaches? Any fun stories from there? Just want to kind of cover that recent success.
Yeah, I mean, bro, going into EWC, even bro, going into Japan, we suck ass at scrims. I think we place like bottom 5 every scrim block. It's fucking terrible. We get inted every game. So I personally did not have like a lot of faith that we'd be making finals. Just speaking honestly, But I think a lot of it came down to just like practicing good practice and getting like all the macro down and like actually practicing some of the fighting, and it just kind of all came together. The boys were as dialed in, you know. It was like definitely long days there for sure. Like finals was 13, 14 games.
Yeah.
But I felt like going in we were not prepared, and I felt like after we were actually really prepared. So yeah, I think hopefully for Japan it's good as well. EWC was a really cool experience though. I know a lot of people talk about like the politics around like the Esports World Cup and the Saudi Arabia and stuff, but they did legitimately treat us really well. They gave us like a lot of free shit. The rooms were really nice. I think the event and the stage was ran like really well overall. There's not like many issues, and everybody was like pretty nice. I can't really say enough good things about EWC. I'm hoping that we're able to go back for like this coming year and represent Dragons there as well. Yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah, brother. Zaney, you got anything to double down on that, man?
EWC was an experience. We just came off of winning regionals in South America. The meta switched as soon as we made EWC qualifiers. So we were going in with new meta, and we suck at scrims. We suck at scrims. I don't know what to tell you. We're always like bottom 5. It's hard to scrim with 300 ping.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people realize that. Everyone sees like our numbers at the end, but you got Panic, our IGL that's on 240 ping, rubber banding a lot of the times. Brutus is on 200 ping. Is Azazel, all that good stuff. So it's hard to do that. So we have a philosophy as a team that's just practice, good practice. Make sure our macro is fantastic. We know what to do in certain situations. And then once we get back to the land stage and we're on the same level as everyone else, it clicks together. So do I think scrims are very important? Yes. But do I think practicing land situations in scrims is the reason why we do very well on the land stage? We don't play around. We wake up every single day, 6 a.m. We draft. We go to scrims, and we treat it like a job. So so because of that, we do well on the land stage, but yeah, we do suck at scrims. But EWC was fantastic. The boys got a lot of free stuff, really cool jackets. They had a really nice, pleasant experience. We had a lot of pictures, so hopefully we get to go back and yeah.
Talk about our comp, bro. Talk about our comp. I forgot to mention that. For Germany.
For EW. Too. Oh yeah, I mean, for EWC in Germany, we were the only team to play Pathfinder Watson. I can't remember the Bangalore. Where did they play Bangalore?
Newcastle, bro.
Newcastle.
Oh my god. Watson Newcastle.
I'm 30
Yeah.
years old. It's getting like bedtime now. My sleep schedule's all messed up. But yeah, we were the only individuals to play that. I think out of like 35 games, we played 30 with that comp in crypto metal.
Hell
So
yeah.
everyone was on crypto, and we were on Watson Newcastle. I think we were the very first like real Newcastle team at LAN.
Mhm.
I know some people were playing it, but we really played it like
Yeah.
from the get go. We were able to really get the spots and hold it with Newcastle and Watson, and then also be aggressive with Pathfinder. So we were like, it fit our meta. Like that was our meta.
R.I.P. Pathy, bro.
Yeah,
Rest in
being
peace.
able to
Yep.
to play hard zone and then be able to third party and be that South America team where everyone knows that they just ape everything. It was
Crash
a really
out.
good it was a really good blend where we were able to do both.
Yeah, we cooked with that comp.
Yeah,
Good. Yep. I remember hearing it like the announcers freaking out too. Is this Newcastle? What team's running Newcastle? I remember watching. That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's funny. I mean, I people are talking about Rampart now.
Yep.
You know, Team Liquid started running it on Storm Point a few months ago. Actually, and they won BLGS with Rampart and Storm Point. And it's just funny because it's a lot of people don't like change. You know, meta is a huge thing. They don't like the thing outside the box. I came from World of Warcraft where there was totally different combinations that you could do. Played League of Legends growing up. Different comps and metas from there. There's always a counter for something. Unfortunately, we're in a situation where there is no counter for Gibby. So
until they made fucking Newcastle Jesus, and then
yeah.
they bought Gibby and made Gibby Jesus, and now they made fucking Loba and Mirage Jesus. So
Yeah. So Darkside and I are very adamant about playing what we're comfortable with. Doesn't matter what we play. It doesn't matter if it's meta or not. If we feel like it fits the team's mold, we're gonna play it. So that was the whole reasoning behind the Watson Pathfinder Newcastle. So the reason why we played Maggie and scrims leading up to Sapporo, played Fuse. We tested stuff out. I think we're stuck on the Rampart now.
Yep.
That was a really good call from Liquid.
Unfortunate. We
really
couldn't
good
cook
call.
any crazy shit up.
Yeah, but we definitely tried to figure stuff out. And we're just excited to play.
I have so much to say about this. Before I do, though, boys, please, anything you guys have to say, because I'm about to fucking yap. They're talking about countering. I got to yap.
Countering, all I can say, Pathfinder nerf, Panic Apex is at a job. So my poor little buddy, man. I send him to Newcastle jail. So
There's
all
not
I
much
gotta
knowledge in the world
say.
of people now, huh?
I mean, you and I both know you're the evil genius behind the countering and stuff. I'm just glad that, I met at Rampart One Trick as a student, and then Team Liquid made it work in Pro League, and now I can justify countering a meta with a legend, because, like I said, you're the evil genius behind, pun intended, behind the counter meta versus running meta, and I had my highlight with Rampart too, so I'll let you yap for a little bit.
So, you guys feel free to absolutely dog on me and bag on me about this. I've been told and been trolled about this so many times. During crypto meta, as teams were running crypto Watson all the time, I was running crypto Pathfinder and Maggie, and I was kind of. Fun fact: I've been on the Maggie binge since Bloodhound Bang meta. Whenever they gave Maggie hacks, um, I was very, very much an advocate of like my Maggie player is very mechanical, was able to track through smokes being on MNK. So I was like, hey man, if you're able to do this already, let's enable this. Let's just really frag out and let's push the pace on this edge. And EMEA for that, just for context, was the region I did in to begin with the Maggie Bloodhound. But anyways, during BLGS one, probably a good segue into the next topic as well. But during BLGS one, really got to experience it with or BLGS two, really, or one.
You're talking about when I joined?
Yeah.
I think it was right after one we started working together.
Yeah. So, anyways, we were running Pathfinder, Crypto, and Maggie, and playing from EDAM out of district. Northern POIs on Stormpoint, flexing across the drops. You know how CCs gets. And on Wedge, we were running out of Overlook pretty religiously. So we were pretty much playing that like kind of zone oriented, find a good pivot spot, play from your pivot to be able to capitalize on any kind of washes on edge, stuff like that. We ended up fucking around and setting a scoring record, and during BLGS. Obviously, it didn't stick. We had a bunch of teams, some from South America, might I add, that absolutely shattered it afterwards. I think we ended up at like 43, which is like 5th on the big board for BLGS. I think we're one of the top CC teams still, like top 3. But countering metas are so fun. I have made a career out of it. I've always been ahead of trying to be the asshole that my utility beats your utility because you're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. So now I'm going to change your pace of fights. Do you guys have anything to add on to just the ability to counter meta, what it offers you guys as far as a team, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, bro, we're always thinking about it. Like, Zanny was the one that brought up like playing Maggie in this meta, and I think not necessarily the fact that it was the character in itself, but I think that even just playing like we were playing like Gibby Newcastle, and it just wasn't really fitting our team's identity either and our playstyle. And having a character like Maggie uh changes that playstyle to be more aggressive and
Yep.
try to be more like kill oriented. And I think all of that like stuff combined can really elevate a team to be better than what they are. Um, so yeah, we love like cooking up different characters. Like Zany was saying, we tried like Fuse for a bit as well, and like nobody was playing Mankey or Fuse at this meta. And I think this is like one of the few metas where there's not really like a counter. You kind of have to conform. There's too many shields. You don't have like enough utility to break through everything on every team. And with like misplaced utility, you just kind of die sometimes. So you have to play like perfect for it to work. So we're like, fuck it. We're just gonna like play meta. But I think Rampart kind of gives us like a balance between being a bit more aggressive, a bit more passive, um, and playing like the Mankey and the Fuse for a bit also gave us a better perspective on like the team strengths and like what we need to work on like a more passive type of play style that this meta entails.
Before I pass it over to you, Zanny, I'm actually gonna give you a huge fucking credit for me cooking on Maggie. I'm not sure if you remember this, but in your Discord, months and months and months ago, when BLGS was announced, there was some Apex players talking about things they can run that they're gonna run for BLGS, blah blah blah, and I was like, you guys are gonna call me crazy. I think it was Bluey, and they're talking old Junior Bluey. I was like, you guys are gonna call me crazy, but straight up, Maggie does a ton in this current meta, and you guys should get on her. And everyone dogged on me, but one person had my back and was like, honestly, he might be cooking. And it was this fella right here next to me. Shout out this guy because without him, I would have been mobbed on by that entire Discord server for saying Maggie. So shout out this guy. He definitely kind of validated my opinion. It was like, definitely could work. You should try it. From there, tried it, set a scoring record. So without Zany, definitely wouldn't have been a Maggie on designated aim assist. So shout out to this guy. Zany, do you have any comments about countering?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're in a situation where it's like any other huge game. Overwatch is a good example where the shield meta came into play.
Yep.
And kind of changed the whole direction of how the esports played. We're just unfortunately in that situation now with the Maggie Newcastle, the Maggie Rampart. I mean, not the Maggie, the Gibby Newcastle, Gibby Rampart, where it's just a lot of shields that stop you from being aggressive. It's more of like a survival meta.
Yep.
How can you survive to end game and then hope your shotgun hits. It's just an unfortunate situation. It's one of my worst metas, I think, as an individual players analyst type of person. I feel like my brain hurts thinking about it because I'm always thinking about how I can get the step ahead, and this one is just you have to play perfectly. I think it's really fun for viewers. Hopefully, when you guys see it at champs, it's fun for you guys to watch. Playing it's awful.
Yeah.
It really is. Especially we're dealing with like invisible zones, all that good stuff that the devs are working on that did find a fix and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a rough meta.
It is very much. Speaking on that, I want to touch on just a real quick. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this at all, but BLGS. Obviously, you guys are pro league caliber coaches. Your players are pro league caliber. What was your experience coming down to our world and for you guys specifically revisiting the world you came from and dealing with the volatility of the CC scene.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I think we didn't make finals. I think we got like 30 something, like low 30s. So we didn't do like super great overall. I think though it was like a very good experience for the team to be able to play against like NA in general, coming from South America. But yeah, a lot of those like lower groups are, like you said, very volatile. Like you could be in a spot, you get inted. Our main goal though for BLGS was as practice for champs. We obviously wanted to do well, but if we like did bad, it's not like like we're shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Panic was really new to the roster at the time too, so it's just like getting him acclimated with everybody, like our coaching styles, trying to find a play style that worked for us. So that's kind of what we used BLGS for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it sucks not making finals, obviously, but it's still you have to make top 10 in finals to even get paid. So it's still a tall ask for anybody.
Mm.
And there was many good NA teams that did not make finals as well.
Very much. I don't know if you guys are fans of us before now or anything like that, or watching the episodes before now, but we actually were very, very much following along with all the pro teams that did well, didn't do well, how well they did, why they didn't do well. I mean, we were in the thick of it. Every single BLGS. That's actually what started the podcast. Was like, hey, let's talk about this stuff. Let's get some coaches together.
Sure exactly what the system is. To me, it seems like a lot of people about the amount of like Preds or Masters in their lower ranked lobbies. I think for a game like a BR, it's very hard to get so many people on the same at the same skill level in the same lobby. When you look at Pred, it's like top 500. There's not always going to be like 60 Preds on playing at the same time. So it makes it very hard to balance where you look at other just like straight 5v5 games or like, one team versus one team based games. And it's a lot easier to balance a rank system. I don't think Apex ranked is ever going to be perfect. I think that for a lot of people, the season 13 rank system where it was a lot more competitive was better. And I do think that if they did some form of that with the current system, it would be better for not only like the higher skill level of players, but also the lower skill level players to experience like actual end games and to learn the game on a deeper level.
Love that answer. Just letting you guys know, we're approaching that 15-minute mark that you set for me earlier.
Yeah, we
you
got a
guys
lot
need
of
to
questions.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot to go over. I think it's fair that if you guys do have time after champs, we get you guys back in here, do a part 2 with Darkside Zany. Get the experience after champs, what we're looking at for year 5, and kind of touch on some of the questions we can get to tonight because of the time constraints. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, guys. I'm gonna keep my 2 bozos here with me for a little bit longer just to talk to our audience. But you guys, please fucking don't be a bad scrim team tonight. We're rooting for you guys.
I think we're top 7. I'm like watching it right now. I can't tell where we're at. So
All right. Well, you
I
guys
just know
be in there, man.
Can we touch on one more question though?
Yeah,
One
absolutely,
more.
brother. Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
Because do you think Apex is still growing as an esport or hitting a plateau? We've talked a little bit about it in the podcast so far, but I think in general Apex is on a decline. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I just think that all the COVID stuff. People are playing new games. Like the game's 5 years old. People got other shit going on in life. As for the pure esports side, I mean, like we have EWC now, which is another like major tournament throughout the year. It's coming back next year. EWC is gonna at least be on for I think another 2 or 3 years. They have a contract for, so hopefully Apex is back for that. And then Japan is arguably one of the largest, or I guess the APAC North region is one of the largest fan bases that we have in Apex currently. And this is the first time that we've had a LAN in Asia, I think, and even Japan. So I don't know if everyone's seen the pictures of the stadium, but it's supposed to be 30,000 plus people. Yep. Like it's 2 mil prize pool. I know Shaheen, who's one of the larger like people at Respawn, who does a lot of the competitive stuff, has been hyping up LAN a ton. There's apparently going to be a lot of cool shit there. So I think that this is going to be the biggest LAN for Apex yet. And we just hope that next year we got some good announcements on some balance, legend ban, which I think makes it more exciting for viewers. So I'm very hopeful for the future.
Happens.
Legend ban. Legend ban.
Legend ban. That is, yeah. I'm very hopeful for the future, though. I think that the esport will only keep growing.
I love that statement. I don't think we go to Japan if we're a dead esport, man. I think Japan's a huge statement.
I'm the opposite. I think.
Oh my god! Don't say that.
if Japan does not break records, I think the only we got 14th. I think the only hero for Apex is Esports World Cup. I think if Esports World Cup brings back their great production team that they did last time, I think that is the savior of esports when it comes to Apex Legends. And I think that if EA doesn't try to get on that level, people are start going to realize how lazy that Apex can be when it comes to that. I don't think that the esports is dying, but I think we're at a stalemate into changes needed. There should be no reason I'm up at 3 a.m. watching Apex Legends, and it's an hour and 15 minutes late because of a production issue.
Yep.
Yeah. Bro, don't listen to Zadie. He's all doom and gloom. He hates esports, bro. He hates the meta. He hates Legend Band, bro. He hates the draft. Like, come on.
I don't like change.
This guy gets paid to be a D1 hater, bro.
Pretty much.
Awesome. Dude, I genuinely appreciate you guys coming and spending time with us, man. This is one of the episodes whenever we started this idea, I was like, I can't wait. If we get this opportunity, I can't wait to do this one. So extremely proud we got to do it with you guys and have this. Super open to part 2 after champs to cover that with you guys.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, bro, hold these questions too. We'll get to them. I promise.
Absolutely, brother.
I don't like leaving shit unanswered, bro. When I'm watching podcasts or shit, I'm trying to ask people questions, and it doesn't get answered, man. I feel bad. Okay.
Me and you both, dog. And they brought some heat for you guys. I kind of challenged them this week. I was like, hey, we bring some more pro league guys
Bro,
in.
it was
Don't
like
let me
30
down.
questions, man. I was like, what the fuck?
usually, dog, it's just cherry pick which ones you think are great questions, and you just go from there. But like, regardless, man, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I think you guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you getting on us or allowing us to get on. Can your production team do like a giant quack or something when I leave the Discord so I can watch it on YouTube? Something cool.
The guy who is the production team is underneath you, and
you're asking me if you want me to do a quack or you could do a quack.
No, if you could add like a really cool quack or like a Mario sound when I leave the Discord so I can watch it on YouTube.
You know, really awesome. I will go in and personally edit the 2-hour VOD and give you a quack.
That's all I asked for. That's all I asked.
My other question is, can it be a Daffy Duck quack?
It can. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Bet. Awesome.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for having us.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Quickly before we go, plug your socials. So those questions could possibly get answered by just heading you up.
Yeah, I'm just at Darkside Apex on Twitter. That's my only social, bro. Follow me there, please.
Yep. At Inzaney. Quick and easy.
Oh,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We will let you go do your jobs because you don't get paid to yap to us. You get paid to yap at some other people.
When do we get paid? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you later.
Later, boys.
God bless. All right. What a W episode. I appreciate those guys so much. I'm keeping you guys around just because I want to have this moment with our audience to say thank you to these guys. The community questions are always awesome every week. The streams are actively growing. The YouTube channel is getting more views from Ruli's side. The Talmage episode was pretty fucking awesome. I think Talmage's stream alone hit like over 400 views within like the first hour of us closing it down. So overall, really appreciate the support. You guys are fucking awesome. We are open our schedule up for year 5. We're probably gonna take a break while I go on vacation, or these guys might keep cooking. We're all here doing it together, so kind of a toss up for that. But anybody who wants to step in and come speak their piece that are coaches, players, pro league, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, if you got a chance to speak your piece on a platform, this is your opportunity. If you want it, here it is. Please reach out to me at YLB Hates Life or YL. Because everybody thinks I'll say because I'm texting. YLB Hates Life on Twitter. YLB Colby Cole on Instagram, and Discord is Evil999. It's for y'all out there for you guys. Rulies is AYYE Unruly on Twitter. Same as his Twitch. You guys hit him up for him.
Literally everything.
Yeah, Knives is gonna be the same thing. I believe your handle is Knives.
No, so on Twitter it's Knives.
Okay.
Discord IKNIVZI. So another I at the end. And Twitch is the same thing.
Hell yeah. So you guys fucking feel free to reach out to us. We're accepting all guests that are of stature that want to come on here and speak their piece, With that being said,
we got 2 special guests coming up.
2. All right. With that being said, please hit us up. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Rules.
Should we say on stream who it's going to be?
If you want to confirm it,
we can leak it.
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah, go for it.
Okay, confirmed next podcast. After champs specifically, we got Capreem, the complexity coach, coming on here next.
The land loot rotate guy.
Yep.
The man, the myth,
super
legend.
happy to talk to that guy. I had a chance to talk to him in his Twitch chats from time to time. He helped me get to the spot I am now without him knowing it, but he helped me open up my mind, brought up some questions to get onto the teams and to the players I work with nowadays. So super happy to see that guy on. And we got, oh boy, I don't want to chop up his name. Yorio?
Roy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was X Go
Roy.
Next. We got it. We got him coming on. He was on Go Next year 4. He was on EXO as well. So happy to pick his brain about Insomnia and how he's going to get them to Pro League. Very exciting.
That'd be huge. That'd be huge.
Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping by, tuning into the stream. As always, my handsome fellas next to me, Knives, really appreciate you guys stopping in, hanging out with us. Anything to say to the people before we get out of here?
No, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us. Keep the questions coming. If you guys are interested in yapping with us, please let us know. That being said, that's the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for the Coach Buff Podcast. Peace.
Episode 8, so you don't have to ask. Episode 8 next.
Episode 8. Yeah. Good shit.
Good comms.